What would make a group of men dress as monks, only to mock the church itself? Who were the strangers who marched through medieval Exeter in holy robes, preaching nonsense, blessing pigs, and demanding coin for salvation? And why did a powerful bishop write, in fear and fury, that madmen have arisen, wearing the garments of God? You're watching Hidden in History, where shadows still speak. If you love uncovering the forgotten conspiracies, rebellions, and secrets that shaped our past, subscribe now and step with us into the year 1348, because this is the story of the Mock Monks of Exeter, a true tale of laughter, blasphemy, and defiance, born in plague, buried in silence. In 1348, the city of Exeter was on edge. The Black Death had arrived in England, a sickness no one understood, killing half of every street. The church preached repentance. The people buried their families. And hope, that most fragile thing, began to rot. Bishop John Grandison, Lord of the diocese, ruled Exeter like a fortress of faith. He demanded obedience, punished dissent, and taxed the city heavily for new chapels and prayers. But the people had grown tired of sermons. They wanted justice. They wanted joy. And from that desperation came a dangerous laughter. One summer's evening, witnesses reported a strange procession winding through the streets. Men dressed as monks, faces painted white, crosses held high. But they sang drinking songs instead of hymns. At their head marched a tall man crowned with a wreath of vines. He called himself the Abbot of Brothelyngham. Behind him came brothers and nuns, waving banners scrawled with mock blessings, shouting Latin gibberish, pretending to absolve passers-by. For a fee. They called their brotherhood the Order of Brothelyngham. The word itself, Brotherlingham, meant the house of disorder. They were parody, carnival, protest, and perhaps something darker. Records from Bishop Grandison's own register describe their acts. They stole church wine, broke into taverns, held midnight masses where they imitated priests, and extorted money from citizens in the name of their false abbot. The bishop wrote furiously that they dare to profane holy vestments and usurp the authority of the clergy. To him, this was not comedy. It was sacrilege, rebellion, and maybe even devil work. But the people laughed. For once, someone mocked the power that ruled their every breath. To them, the mock monks gave shape to a feeling no sermon could erase: that faith had failed them. Bishop Grandison struck back. He summoned his clerks and city guards to root out the mad brethren. Informants were paid. Taverns were raided. A list of suspects drawn up. But the order had friends in unexpected places. Innkeepers, students, maybe even some clerics tired of hypocrisy. Each time soldiers came, the monks vanished into the back streets, into cellars, or into the crowds of market day. Grandison's fury filled his letters. He wrote of men possessed of madness, drunk with impiety. Some chronicles claim he even asked the king's justice to intervene, but there is no record of royal troops arriving. Exeter was already overwhelmed by the plague. As the death toll rose, fear drowned order. Corpses piled at church doors. Priests refused to visit the sick. And the Order of Brothelyngham turned the city's despair into spectacle. They marched again, carrying coffins painted with smiling faces. They sang psalms backward. One chronicler swore he saw them mock bury a live pig, chanting, "Here lies another sinner." Who were they, really? Some historians see them as common thieves, a gang cloaked in parody. Others believe they were local craftsmen, students, even minor clerics, striking back at corruption. The 14th century was full of such carnivals of protest, moments when laughter became a weapon. Across Europe, peasants held mock courts, fake bishops, parody popes, symbolic acts that said, "You don't own our souls." Exeter's mock monks may have been England's boldest example. They represented something the medieval church feared most: ridicule. A joke can travel faster than heresy and reach ears that dogma never will. For Bishop Grandison, every laugh was a crack in divine authority. So he swore to end it. In late 1348, as plague consumed Exeter, the order disappeared. Some members were caught and imprisoned, their names never recorded. Others likely died of the very pestilence they mocked. Grandison declared victory. His register ends with a cold line. Thus, the blasphemous company of Brothelyngham was dissolved. But no sermon could erase the memory. For decades afterward, Exeter's citizens whispered of nights when the abbot of Brothelyngham still walked the streets, laughing through the mist. So what were the Mock Monks of Exeter? Criminals, clowns, or revolutionaries in disguise? They left no manifesto, no banner, no creed, but they left a question that still echoes through time. What happens when belief becomes theater, and theater becomes rebellion? Their story shows us that resistance doesn't always come with swords or banners. Sometimes it wears a grin. It speaks in parody. It turns sacred ritual into satire and forces power to look at its own reflection. In an age when laughter could cost your life, these men dared to laugh at God's gatekeepers. They were punished, forgotten, erased. Yet the bishop's fury, his very attempt to silence them, ensured they would be remembered. Centuries later, their tale resurfaced in dusty church archives. One bishop's complaint preserved what an entire city tried to forget. Through that single document, the shadows of Brothelyngham still whisper their defiance. The Mock Monks of Exeter, a forgotten rebellion born in laughter, buried in plague, and reborn in memory. This has been a production of Hidden in History, where shadows still speak. If you enjoyed this story, subscribe and join us again as we uncover more truths history tried to hide.